Hello, everyone, and welcome to All Hands on Deck. My name is Reverend Gregory Seal Livingston. I'm the interim pastor of New Hope Baptist Church and the president of the Coalition for New Chicago. And our host, the Reverend Ira Ackery, the pastor of Greater St. John Bible Church and the co-chair of the Leaders Network, is en route. He's probably just finished saving a few lives, and he's on his way here right now. But we're so thankful for you guys tuning in. Please call in with your questions and comments at 312-738-1060, 312-738-1060. You know, one of the topics we wanted to cover is about a lady who has impacted all of our lives, now the late, great Aretha Franklin. Aretha Franklin was a talent of such monumental proportions that it seems like there will never be anyone that will ever come close to what she was able to do. And Sister Aretha could sing every type of music: gospel, blues, rock, R&B, soul, classical. It didn't matter, jazz. That voice was just an incredible instrument, a gift from God. And I have an Aretha story that, when I was working for Rainbow Push, and I remember my parents had passed, and this was the first Christmas that I had that my parents were not with me. And so it was myself and Reverend Jackson. He had me over his house for Christmas, and he had a Bose telephones deal, like Bose speakers. So he says, "Greg, give Aretha a call." And Aretha knew me from the broadcast that we do on Saturdays, the Saturday morning forum. And she had known that my parents had passed as well. And she had just done a Christmas album, and her first one ever, in her illustrious career. And she got on the phone, and on that Bose speaker system that the phone was part of, and she began to sing to us her entire Christmas album on the phone. And what was so remarkable about that is that Aretha, as her father would say, the late great Reverend C.L. Franklin, was just a stone singer. I mean, she just sang so effortlessly. All the words, everything. She was just a pure singing creature, entity, machine. And it was such a beautiful thing. And I always be very grateful to her to sing all of those wonderful Christmas songs, and it was comforting. And what I'm saying is, there was no difference with her singing through the phone as it would be when you would go to a concert and listen to her or listen to one of her albums. Because every time she sang, she gave it everything she had. It was just absolutely great. And so I'm so grateful for my co-host, the great Reverend Dr. Ira Ackery. And so he's here. And we are here representing the GSJ, the Greater St. John Family Life Center. And the number there, if you need help, is 773-378-3300, located at 1256 North Waller.
Hey, it's Reverend Ira J. Ackery here in the studio with my good friend. He's been holding it down for the last 2 weeks. He had it all by himself, week number 1, and then last week, he was graced with the presence of the very erudite, sagacious,
come on, Doc,
and eloquent community leader,
Doris,
the beautiful.
Come on now,
Miss Doris Davenport.
That's right.
You guys are rocking and rolling.
Oh, man, you have big shoes to fill, Doc.
Oh man,
yes, sir.
I'm just glad that you accepted me back.
Oh, please.
You're famous now.
Oh no.
And you had her on your side.
Oh boy.
And I guess I looked at it on screen, and you guys were real close. You way over there. It's all good, brother.
Oh, I appreciate that, Doc. Thank you for the platform.
Hey, it's going down. It's amazing how we both came in with our casual gear.
That's right.
That's amazing. Right. We normally suited and booted.
I felt kind of bad at first. Then when you walked through the door, I said, "Oh, we ought to say, great minds think alike."
You got it. You got it. So grateful for your service. We want to talk about Aretha Franklin. Anybody excited about the impact that Aretha has made to gospel, R&B? Aren't you just proud of who she really is?
Aretha is an incredible talent, could sing every type of music. And Aretha was always on. I never even heard of her, really, she was afraid to fly. So she caught trains and buses, rode on ships and everything. And she would make her concerts and always give her fans her very best.
We want to hear from you. If you want to make a tribute to Aretha Franklin, call us right now in the studio at 312-738-1060. We want to hear from you. Many times we're talking real heavily about politics, and we still are going in the back door to talk about politics because she had a great commitment to civil rights.
Yes, sir.
They tell me when Dr. Martin Luther King's support and his funding had began to cease and slow down, it was Aretha Franklin that went across the country with Harry Belafonte.
Wow.
And they did 11 concerts and turned all of the monies over to Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. I want to hear from you. How does the memory, the labor, love, the legacy, and the music, baby,
come on,
of Aretha Franklin, how does it impact your life, your world, and your memories? Let me hear from you today. Let me hear from you, 312-738-1060. Let me hear some of your favorite tunes.
Well, I wanted to say that if the viewers have never heard you sing before, they would think you were one of the sons of Aretha, Doc, because you're that smooth. It's like you're the son of Aretha and Sam Cooke. You just smooth, man.
A hybrid, a baby. If Aretha and Sam Cooke had a baby, it would be me.
Yeah, or either Ron Isley, one of the other. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Well, I want to tell you, she has made an impact on my life. I'm just very appreciative of the fact that she grew up in the church.
She sure did.
And she never left the church.
Her daddy said she never left the church.
She may have left the parameters or the context of the edifice.
Come on, Doc.
But guess what? She took the church with her.
Everywhere she went.
Yeah.
I mean, that 1972 Amazing Grace album still stands as one of the greatest gospel albums of all time. And if you've never heard that, go on your iTunes or your Spotify, whatever it is, and pull up the 1972 Amazing Grace album by Aretha Franklin, and you hear her dad on there, the late, great Reverend C.L. Franklin.
What year is that?
1972.
Okay.
The late, great Reverend James Cleveland. And let me tell you, Aretha just, her daddy says on that album, Aretha nothing but a stone singer.
I tell you, three of my favorite tunes, I'm going to be honest with you, is Amazing Grace.
Yes, sir.
Amazing Grace.
She sings that. Woo.
It's amazing that you brought that up.
Yes, sir.
Oh my goodness, I love to hear her sing Amazing Grace. And then I like the R-E-S-P-E-C-T because she was singing at a time where there was a need for some consciousness.
Yes, sir.
In the singing.
For sure.
Wouldn't it be great if, well, let me give you my third one. My third one is You Make Me Feel Like a Natural Woman. Yeah. And the bottom line is, I mean, what man wouldn't want to hear his lady say that?
This is the great Reverend Ira Acre, y'all. The one and only.
Boy, she know what to say to the man, don't she?
I love you, brother. You one of a kind. I ain't gonna lie.
Yes, sir. Give me your top three.
Well, I want to say this. I never forget on the Oprah Winfrey Show, they had it divided it into 2 half-hour pieces. The first half was dedicated to the new Queen of Soul, Mary J. Blige. You know, and nothing against Mary J., right? And the second half was going to be Aretha Franklin. So Mary J. comes on, the new queen. She has her monitors in her ears and everything, and she's, you know, she does what she does. But Aretha comes out in one of them big gown dresses or whatever, had on a pair, might have been house shoes, I don't know. No monitors in her ears, just a mic. And by the time Aretha finished, everybody in that studio was jumping up and down. Tears were coming down their eyes. I mean, white, black, red, yellow, brown. It didn't matter. Oprah couldn't even close the show. And I'm going to have to go on YouTube and find that show, because when you see what Aretha, even Mary J. Blige just said, I am not the new queen. She said, because the queen is still here.
Woo!
Yes,
Listen,
sir.
And let me tell you, I saw that. I went online and I saw that when I was out of town in South Beach. And boy, I had a lot of good fun in South Beach.
I bet you did.
But when I looked at that particular episode, Aretha Franklin, she was so moving and making such an impact that day that Oprah like responded like she was in church.
She's speaking in tongues on her own program.
I'm telling you,
it was something, Doc.
Incredible.
Yes, sir.
It was incredible. And give me your three top tunes.
Well, I'm like you. I love that Amazing Grace. So I can hear that over and over again. What she does with that. What's the one, Doc, with A Land Where We'll Never Grow Old?
Oh, Never Grow Old.
You know, Never
goodness.
Grow Old. And of course, I'm like you. I love R.E.S.P.C.T.
Yeah.
Chain of Fools, man. You know, and I even like her thing in was it late '80s, '90s? Was that it was that Pink Cadillac?
Oh wow.
Yeah, you know that was a different piece for Aretha. Man.
That was like before my time.
It probably was. I probably was. I know you was born in this century. Yeah, but you grew fast.
Listen. But today I was looking online, and I really had all intents and desires to be in Detroit. And so much has come up since then. I had 2 deaths in my church family, and it's been really rough for a few days. But I want to be there with the family, and I want to go to the service.
Yes, sir.
In fact, I got an opportunity. I was trying my very best to get into service. I called Reverend Al Sharpton. Reverend Al didn't call me back. I called Reverend Jesse Jackson 3 times.
Uh-oh.
He didn't call me back. But when he see me, he'll act like, brother, I did not get the call. Amen. You know.
Well, you know, you still his buddy.
And then I called Donald Parson. He's just gonna get a voicemail. Anyway, called the man who's gonna speak, Reverend Jasper Williams. Don't really know him as well as I know those guys. And he answered the phone right away. He thanked me for praying. I told him I'm gonna be praying for him.
Yes, sir.
I'm gonna be praying for him. And I was kind of hoping he was gonna ask me, you know, are you coming down to the service? And then if he'd ask me, was I coming down to the service in that small, you know, chapel, because it's not a small chapel, but considering you're going from a big auditorium or a coliseum, that's like only for family and friends.
Sure.
So he didn't give me the invite, so I guess I have the best seat in the house anyway.
That's right.
I'll be watching it.
That's going to be incredible.
On TV.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Like Whitney Houston.
Absolutely.
That was some funeral.
Absolutely.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I'm very intrigued and interested in hearing how Jasper Williams is going to, deal with this. How he's going to make hermeneutics have some relevance today. You know, I know he's going to try to make that connection.
Well,
will he connect the dots?
He eulogized her father.
Yes, he did.
And he preached a good soldier.
Yes, sir.
Because her father, I believe, stayed in a coma after he was surprised and robbed and shot in his own house for about 7 years.
It's amazing, ain't it?
But he said he stayed on the task. He stayed on Christendom's smoky battlefield, bleeding both blood and soul, until he got his orders to come on home. So now he gets the grand privilege of not only ushering the father in, but to usher the daughter in as well.
Well, he told me personally he considers that an enormous honor.
Yes, sir.
Because he told me, he said, listen, I'm 75. He said, Akron, I'm an old man now. He said, you know, when you're young, you embrace those opportunities and you take it as an opportunity to let your light shine,
Sure.
if you know what I mean.
Yes, sir.
He said, but now I just do what I do.
Yeah, and keep going.
And keep moving it.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. And so it's some tedious times right now. I want to tell you, this violence piece is still critical, and maybe we need to have somebody come in our studio as we transition. We're trying to wait and see if you guys had any favorite songs of Aretha. If you wanted to call in and leave your favorite songs or leave a tribute, how her music made you feel. I heard someone said people may forget what you said, they may forget what you did, but they'll always remember how you made them feel.
Maya Angelou, come on, Doc.
That was Maya Angelou, wasn't
Yes, sir.
it?
Yes, sir.
All right, and I tell you, she makes you feel real good.
That's right.
You know, but we're transitioning to this violence piece, and want to just say that we announced a reward for any information that leads to the arrest and the conviction of a young man I watched grow up named Dennis Monroe. $2,500 reward for anybody who can get help us get this vagabond. I'm sorry.
Yes.
This hoodlum off the street.
That's right.
This hope thief.
That's right.
Who took this young man's life. in Uptown. It was the only homicide so far on the north side this year. Now, I wanted to ask you, when you hear that this young man was killed on the north side, and you and I and David and Reverend Hatch David Cherry have been making the case of the tale of two cities.
Yes, sir.
And they said, well, wait a minute. They are dying on the north side. One person just got killed. What's your response?
Well, if you have a fire, there's three things you can do. You can all come together to work to put out that fire. Or number two, you can let the fire just rage and just go everywhere. Or number three, you can spend resources and money on isolating and trying to contain that fire. What you'll find out is you can't contain fire. It will find a way because the wind will blow. And what we're saying is that we are one people in Chicago who have been divided, and it's time for us to reunite because this violence will bleed into every area of our city. There's no way to get around that, but if we all work together, we can stanch that violent blood flow.
And when we're dealing with the violence, the mayor of our city, it seems to me that he has really written us off on the south and west side.
Yes, sir.
Because there is no excuse for a homicide clearance rate to be a mere 17%, right? That means, anybody know what that means? That means out of all the homicides in your city, the clearance rate, it directly addresses how many people were arrested as it relates to that homicide. So in Chicago, we only have a 17% clearance rate for homicides. In the 90s, Reverend Livingston, when we had 2,000 police officers, detectives in the detective unit, we had a 65% homicide clearance rate. I think when you decimate the detective unit and you only have 17%, to me it says that the administration doesn't have the will.
That's right.
To even really want to solve these crimes. Because
they don't see it as a crime. It is a tool of social engineering to gentrify and drive out the poor, the unwanted, the quote-unquote, the undesirable, and in many cases, the blacks.
Absolutely.
To drive us out. Let's call it what it is.
Sure. And that's my thing. This is becoming a little bit more glaringly obvious.
Yes, sir.
That this administration has not made the homicide clearance rate an issue.
That's right.
Because if we could get 50% of these murderers apprehended.
Yes, sir.
That would be the greatest deterrent.
That's right.
And it will stop people from being so quick to pull the trigger.
Removing known killers.
Absolutely.
We have 86% of known killers still walking around on the street. What's to deter them from trying it again? Well, you know they're not going to catch you.
Absolutely. That's the greatest deterrent for a person committing a murder is the fear of getting caught.
Yes, sir.
And there is no fear now.
There's no fear.
That really means in Chicago, if you go shoot somebody, there's an 83% chance you will get away.
That's right.
Come on.
Right.
Come on, guys.
The odds are in your favor.
Yes.
If you had those kind of odds with the lottery, you would be a winner.
You got that right.
And so it's structural, like you said, by decimating the number of detectives, for whatever reason that is, why you reduce that number when cities that are larger than we are, like New York and Los Angeles, have clearance rates between 50 and 65%,
sure.
And their detective ranks are much higher, are proportionate, and we have one that's so low. Why is that? Because there is a why. There is an intention. There are minds. Stuff is not just happening.
So here's the thing.
Yes, sir.
When violence occurs at this rate, and people are running out of Chicago, like the exodus of people that has already left, and they keep hearing violence in Chicago. What side of the town from Chicago are they going to be running out of? The west side and the south side.
That's right.
People on the north side and downtown, they're not saying, hey, we got issues with violence. We got a caller real quickly. Welcome to the show.
Hello.
Hello there.
Hi, so I've been listening and I want to just contribute this. This morning on my way to work, I was pulled over by the police for going allegedly 9 miles above the speed limit in the passing lane. That's what the police are out here doing. They are sticking bait trucks in black neighborhoods. They are ticketing people of color for minor traffic infractions. But when it comes to actually doing their job, protecting and serving, solving homicides, preventing crime, they're failing miserably. And I don't understand why so much revenue is being devoted to them, why so much of our tax dollars are going to their salaries and their pensions, and they're completely ineffective. Like, I don't understand that, and I'm not sure why we're not demanding more of them as a community.
Thank you so much.
Well, I think, Reverend Ackery, that the police are being used as a revenue generator as opposed to being a service and protection. I think that many of the officers wish that things were different, but, boots on cars, ticketing people like crazy, these parking zones and all these things are creating revenue, generating revenue for the city. And the mayor that we have in office right now, money is more important to him. Money is his God.
All right. Listen, I think the lady, that was a very educated call. And certainly, I feel just putting more police on the streets is not the answer. If they were really serious about solving the crime, they would invest in the detective units, because we really need to, we don't really want an occupying force in our neighborhood.
Right.
But if someone commits a crime, we do want them apprehended. Nobody's never said anything different than that.
That's right.
All right. So you got something big coming up?
Yeah, Doc.
Talk about it?
Yeah, we're going to, this Labor Day weekend, we're going to start off at Rainbow Push at 10 o'clock on Saturday morning. We're going to speak there. Then we're going to have training for activists and people that want to march with us on September the 3rd, Labor Day. We're going to be at Cumberland Avenue, staging there at 11:30 for the O'Hare International Airport shutdown. And we're going to be marching from Cumberland Avenue up to River Road, and then we're going up a little bit further. We're going to leave a contingency there to block that. We're going to cross over the median and block the exiting. So we're blocking the traffic into O'Hare and the traffic coming out of O'Hare, because we need resources in our community, and this is the cry of the community saying, you've made us to go this far. I don't want to be on the expressway on Labor Day, but we got to be out there because too many folk are dying, too many folk are suffering, too many schools are closing, too many jails are being built, too many resources are being snatched away, too many mental health centers have been closed. It's just too much, and we have to put an end to this.
What kind of involvement will Reverend Jesse Jackson have, since he's hosting you Saturday?
Well, Reverend Jackson is bringing an incredible amount of experience to this, because we're in the historical shadow of when Dr. King's movement, when they marched through Cicero, Illinois on September 4th, 1966. And so we're marching in that historical shadow, because when the black teenager Jerome Huey was beaten to death by a white mob, well, we're connecting that also to the beginning of the Jason Van Dyke trial on September 5th, with his execution and brutal shooting of Laquan McDonald. And what we're saying is, look, we've been here before, and we're going to overcome this, and we're going to break the back of white supremacy, and end the tale of two cities, and make Chicago one.
Any breaking news as far as any known activists or other community leaders that have committed to joining?
Sure.
Organized.
T.O. Hardiman.
What?
Oh, T.O. Hardiman, Doc, without a doubt. Man, T.O.'s in the house.
Back.
That's right. Michael Rabbit on the northwest side. The 41st Ward Progressives.
Sure.
Jedediah Brown. Lamont Record. And without a doubt, Doc, there's some other groups. Come on now.
Yeah.
The Little Prophet.
Yeah.
And there's
Little Cussing Prophet.
and it's a citywide call, and it's a holiday.
Sure.
And so, we're going to be out there from 12 to 3. And I'm telling you, I had a meeting with the state troopers today, and they were saying, what do we do about emergency vehicles and all this? And we understand they're going to be rerouting people and the like. But one of the things that's really true here, when I talked to many of the people, I said, look, Dr. King and them, when they marched through Cicero, there were 250 marchers and 3,000 cops. When they marched through Selma, there was 500 marchers and 2,000 cops. But those cops were beating them. Fire hoses, dogs being released. We don't have to deal with any of that, thank God.
We're out of time.
Yes, sir.
Listen, you can help if you want to be a part of this movement. Once again, what will you be?
Coalition for New Chicago, September 3rd, Cumberland Avenue, 11:30 a.m. Labor Day. Be with us. O'Hare shutdown.
All hands on deck. See you next week.
The Great Acre.